There will be no comment on this. We've heard the news of Justin Bieber. There's going to be no comment on this. No medical advice, no legal advice, no election fortification advice. Justin Bieber has recently been diagnosed with Ramsay Hunt syndrome. His wife 3 months ago was released from hospital after a blood clot found in the brain. And you can't even ask questions anymore. You can't even when the news on Bieber broke, and let's close this down. When the news on Bieber broke, and it's an amazing thing. Are we even allowed asking certain questions? Can we even ask the question? And then someone responded to this. How do I say this? Someone said, now every health issue is going to be attributed to something. I was like, we're not even there yet. Can we ask the questions? When you're never going to die, you're never going to find what caused something if you don't ask the questions. And it might be not the wrong question. The answer might be, no. But there is going to be a collective trauma now when we start seeing what I think are more of these types of stories. It's possible, as with other stuff, that it's just being reported more, and these things have always been around. Okay. That's a question of discretion and judgment, and I may or may not prefer mine to others. But can you even ask the question? And it seems that you can't. You can't ask the question, even if the answer would be in the negative. And it's just one thing after another. And if you even ask the question, you'll be branded as a whatever. I feel bad. And then the other issue is like everything gets politicized and weaponized, even stuff that might be, unrelated. But we're living in a world where we can't even ask the questions. We can't have a free open discourse on this, and that is, deliberately or indirectly contributing to the very problem. You don't quell conspiracy theories by not allowing people to ask the questions and not allowing the discussion to occur, because if something's unfounded, aggregate knowledge typically will reveal that. If something is a disgusting, intolerant idea, it will typically be outed as such, and people will respond accordingly. But one story after the other, young people, and now Ramsay Hunt syndrome, you're going to hear this because it's true, is apparently a potential side effect of shingles. Shingles, however, is a potential side effect of a number of things. I got shingles, by the way, February 2020, right before the world shut down, right before all of this occurred. But typically, Ramsay Hunt syndrome is in older people. Typically, shingles is as well. But shingles can lead to Ramsay Hunt syndrome, facial paralysis, deafness in the ear. And that is, and once upon a time, was just a known potential risk of a number of things, as was GBS, which, if you've had it in the past, these are things that you need to know before doing things in the future. Can't even ask the questions, can't have the discussion. And it's not just that the people get shunned for asking the obvious questions and expecting to have an open discourse on it. The people who shut down the conversation feel virtuous and, what's the word? Superior in doing it. They feel intellectually and morally superior in telling people what they can and cannot say, shutting down the obvious questions, and stifling the obvious discourse. This inflation is part of the Great Reset. Once upon a time, the Great Reset was a pure conspiracy theory. Once upon a time, the Great Reset was a conspiracy theory. Anyone who mentioned the words, it was 2020 on YouTube, they were verboten. And if it don't believe me, hold on one second. Add to stream. Don't believe me that the Great Reset was once conspiracy theory. It was. How do I get to this one? Which one is it? It's not that one. It's not this one. Within 3 months, no. So close this. Close the committee. Where's my window? Here. It seems that some people still do not know. It was a PDF. Here. This is from the World Economic Forum. This is from the World Economic Forum website. The Great Reset. Ooh, I will reject your cookies. When is this from? September 24th, 2020. Once upon a time, anyone who said that there was this thing by the World Economic Forum being promoted, this idea called the Great Reset, you were dubbed and labeled a conspiracy theorist. And you were shunned. And the people who said it, didn't even know that it existed, but they felt empowered. They felt morally and intellectually superior in deliberately trying to stifle or suppress or demonize anybody who would say these words. There was an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis. To improve this, first of all, this is a fragmented sentence. Maybe you guys want to learn how to draft at the WEF. WEFforum.org. Okay, this is right. To improve the state of the world economic... Oh, sorry, it is not a fragmented sentence. It's starting the Great Reset Initiative. Now, let me just make sure that this is not a fake URL. Okay, good. And there you have it. But once upon a time, let's just see, back in the day. Let me see these. We want to do, maybe we'll go with, if there were one entity. Here we go. CBC. The Great Reset, Politics and Conspiracy. 2 years ago. Last week, after a video of one of his speeches went viral, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had to address the growing controversy over, quote, the Great Reset. The term means different things to different people. To the World Economic Forum, it's a vague goal to make the world more equal and address climate change in the wake of the pandemic. And before that, this is the old deny, and when it becomes undeniable, admit but minimize, and then when you can't minimize it anymore, spin it and say it's for the better of the world. This is exactly what the CBC actually did with the convoy itself. There is no convoy. Okay, it's a small convoy in British Columbia protesting road conditions. Okay, it's an actual big convoy heading to Ottawa, but they're racists, xenophobes, anti-black racists, transphobes, whatever, extremists. Look how young Pierre Poilievre was back then. Oh, yo. It was conspiracy at the time, and anyone who dared talk about it on YouTube, found out. There's Chet Chisholm. There's no question. There's a number of things. There's a number of things that reactivate shingles. There's also a number of things that can trigger GBS. Any infection or any foreign invasion into the body can trigger Guillain-Barré syndrome. So the thing is this: if you allowed the discussion to happen, people would actually realize that any viral infection can actually trigger shingles or GBS. Any viral infection can trigger GBS. I happen to know this from family experience. We had someone in the family who got GBS. It wasn't as a result of any jab or anything. It was well before, but it's a known fact. And in fact, if you go look at any side effect of any of these medical interventions, these are just known potentials. So if you even have the discussion, you might demystify what some people are going to think. Oh, it can only strictly be as a result of the Fauci juice. Well, no. Any viral infection can trigger shingles, can trigger GBS, can trigger a number of things. We know they're lying. They know they're lying. They know we know they're lying. We know that they know that we know they are lying, and they still continue to lie. Alexander Solzhenitsyn. It's a good expression. And then you have to make sure not to get caught retweeting bunk, false, fake stories. There was one involving CTV News and monkeypox. It turned out to be a fake headline, fake news, and anyone who retweeted it will now get accused or blamed for having retweeted false information. Speaking of which, by the way, anybody watching W5 tonight, they are going to be issuing a correction. Hopefully just a proper retraction and correction for what they mentioned about me in their previous report on W5. So I just hope it's making right of what I hope was just a mistake. And I hope it's not just going to, I hope they're not going to try to find a way to like jab and needle even in their correction. I'm told that W5 will be issuing a correction tonight on their broadcast. So everyone give it a watch. I'm going to try to record it. If anyone out there can record it, please record it and then tweet it to me so that I can hear the correction. I'm not going to make a wall of shame like James O'Keefe. I'm not going to have the alpaca thingy thing, but I am just going to be happy that my good name will have been preserved, and all it took was a little bit of diligence. The price of freedom is eternal diligence.